as I greet the day. From the pines of Carolina to California shore, I'm the ruler of the asphalt with tales to explore. What's going on? What's going on, YouTube? I ended up getting a load yesterday out of the spot market, coming to Atlanta, Georgia. Right here now at the dock. The dock here. This is a cluster. This is a shit show right here, man. Small place. They got a bunch of trucks coming in. Luckily, got in. They got me a door right away, so I'm happy. Great load. I got this load 3 miles where the TA that I was in. I was in Florence, Kentucky. You know, that's where I was visiting my family and dealing with some personal matters. And I tell you, man, the low when I saw in the spot market paid $4.23 or 34 cents out of Florence coming to Atlanta. I said, shit, man, all the loads from that region, northern Kentucky, man, they looking pretty good. And the spot market, I'm not even talking about Mercer. So obviously I don't get the 420. I end up getting 338, but it was still, you know, the whole load paid at a spot market 1950. I end up keeping the 1490 out of it, something like that, around there. And the good thing it is that I end up picking up a load, a drop on Monday on Carlisle, PA. That I drop off on Monday is paying $1.80. It's not paying that great, but you know, it's kind of heavy too. But it's only 10 miles away from here, so you know, it's a decent load. And I definitely wanted it to drop on Monday because I still got to do some things. So I'm gonna stop, you know, by where I was and take care of certain things, you know, with a family member and stuff like that. So that way I could leave Sunday out of there and drop it on Monday. It's only like 6 hours away, 7 hours away from where I'm gonna be. So obviously, you know, I gotta do a little detour, but it's totally worth it for me because I honestly didn't want to stay on the weekend nowhere else. You know, I'm taking care of certain things, and it worked out perfectly. You know, I'm not a fan of Pennsylvania, to be honest. You know, the lows every time I go there, they don't pay that much, but at least it keep me. You know, I know out of Pennsylvania I could get a load back to the Midwest on Monday, and I could stay the whole week just on the Midwest. That's the plan. Like I said, man, the lows here, all the lows that I see in Mercer Lowboard, they going down to Florida, you know. And I don't want to go to Florida, man. Like I said, I'll be honest, I'm kind of glad I came down here because it's going to be a cold front in the whole Midwest. So it worked out perfectly. They just sent a message in the low board here from Mercer. General safety message. Warehouse will start closing at 4:30. Okay. Anyways, I honestly don't want to go to Florida. Then I got a deadhead coming back out. And in Georgia, the lows, you know, they're not paying that great because a lot of drivers, truck drivers, they coming down here. They don't want to be in the, you know, Midwest, Northeast, Northwest, because of, you know, a lot of drivers don't like to drive in the snow, in the cold weather. Me, I stay up there, man. They paying good. I stay in the Midwest, you know. That's where I'm gonna be in wintertime, you know. I'm not worried about the snow at all. You know, I've been driving since I've been a truck driver all around the snow, you know. You just gotta know when you gotta stop. You know, when it's danger, you gotta stop. You gotta stop. You know, it's no any. There is no law more important than us. You know, or you causing an accident. You know, because you want to get that low on time. If the weather's bad, just stop. You know, stop and let me make sure I got this on. I'm not talking to myself. Oh yeah, it's on. Okay. The reason why I put it here because if I put it anywhere else, it kind of sound bad, and I find out here. One of my friends told me about it. He said, "Put it in just in your head. It sound better." So that's what I'm doing. Well, yeah, I get it unloaded right now. Then I gotta pick up the other load, and you know, I'm gonna head back to visit my family again, and I'm gonna stay there until Sunday. Sunday night I leave in 2 p.m. and then I deliver that load. Hopefully I find something, you know, Monday at a car light, PA, and you know they take me back to the Midwest, even Ohio. I know I wouldn't have no problem, you know. I'm pretty sure they got loads coming here. Carla is a hot spot for loads. So I'm pretty sure, you know, I will get something. Now the rates, you know, like I say, if they shit rates, they head to goddamn Ohio, you know. That's what I'm doing. I mean, I'm not gonna do nothing for free. Not you know, for cheap. But yeah, guys, telling you, man. I did my inspection, my truck inspection in a TA, and I misread an email or a message from Mercer saying that we could do all the trucks inspection in any TA, and that's not the case. It's only for the trailers, man. So I end up wasting $70 because the Mercer doesn't gonna honor the inspection. I'm gonna have to do it in one of the approved Mercer, you know, shops that do inspections. You know what I mean? So I got until the end of the month. You know, I got into a little situation. You know, about the trailer inspection because you know they called me. Supposedly they called me in November 21st. You know, it was the holidays. You know, I just picked that trailer up, and you expect me to do the inspection before the end of the month when I already have plans with my family. You know, and I'm not gonna drop my plans because the trailer needed inspection. So they end up putting me out of service until I did the inspection yesterday. You know, I spent my whole day there, which is a waste of time. I don't get paid for that. So, you know, I'm a little sour about that, you know, to be honest, with you guys. But they put me, you know, back in, they took me out of service right away. And, you know, I got this load, came down here. But I just don't like that, you know, like I didn't like at Landstar, the same situation where you do dropping hooks and you gotta wait 2 or 3 days if they don't got no trailers. You know, that's a situation I don't like about Mercer, you know. You know, I understand we rent the trailer and we gotta do the inspection, but don't call me, you know, in the holidays when I already got plans and expect me to drop what I gotta do for me to do inspection of the trailer. It's not gonna happen, you know. It's not gonna happen. So it ended up costing me, you know, being out of service cost me a day. It is what it is, you know, but I'm honest with you guys, I definitely don't like that, you know. If they know the trailer and inspection, at least they gotta give you 2 weeks, you know. Not a few days, you know, in the same week of Thanksgiving, you know, when I was already going home. And it wasn't no trailers around there. I mean, no shops, approved shops. Well, not even approved shops, because to be honest, the trailer you could take it to any TA, and you know they could do the inspection. So I just didn't have the time. I'm not gonna bullshit. You know what I mean? You're not gonna call me the last day and tell me to drop my plans that I already got planned up to do an inspection. It's not gonna happen. You know, it's not gonna happen. So they end up putting me out of service. You know, a lot of you know, I believe they should extend it. You know, they do it to a lot of people, but you know, I was heated because they put me out of service, so I know they did it purposely. They didn't want to put me back in service until I did a special, which is fine, you know. But like I said, I'm honest. I don't like that. I don't like it, and I'm never gonna like it. You know, don't call us with less than a week to do a goddamn inspection. Uh, you know, because if we go to a TA or anywhere we gotta go, we just don't walk in there and we get service right away. We gotta sit and wait. You know, we gotta sit and wait until whenever we get called to get the service done. You know, so you know, you basically gonna waste a whole day. You know, if you're doing a load, you got a delivery, and you know, if at least you know 2 weeks ahead of time, you could plan it around that. You know, but not the last minute, especially like I said, on holidays. You know, now I know about my truck that I gotta do my truck before the end of the month, so I got enough time, right? I did it like I said in the TA, but I misread, and they're all, you know, all the TAs. You could take the trailers to any TA, but you cannot take the tractor to any TA. You gotta be to the specific approved Mercer places. So I end up wasting $70. You know, I end up wasting my day and $70. So it is what it is. You know, like I say, I'm not a fan of that. You know, like I say, if they would have called me ahead of time, you know, I was, and that week I was in the middle of goddamn Wyoming, you know, taking a load, and then from there I picked up a load and I went to Iowa, and it was a snowstorm coming through, and you know, I had to head all the way home, and once I parked my truck, you know, I already had plans to travel, so I wasn't gonna cancel my plans and my traveling plans, I mean my vacations and the personal things that I gotta do for, you know, to go back before the end of the month and do a special on the trailers. It's not gonna happen, you know. So yeah, I got hit. I got upset, you know, and you know they gave me a hard time too, cause you know they know I was hit, so they got hit too, you know. But it is what it is, man. Like I say, I'm an owner operator. You know, if I don't like something, I'm gonna say it. You know, if they want to cancel the contract, they could do it. You know, there's companies out there that I could go to. You know, like I say, I like Mercer. Never had no problem with Mercer. The only thing I don't like about Mercer is that situation right there. You know, I understand we gotta do the inspections. But man, I've been doing inspection every trailer I pick up, and I drop a hook. They end up calling me to do a goddamn inspection. You know, which I understand if I got time. You know, but especially during the holidays, you know, all these inspections they go for a year, man. You know, it's the holidays. You could say, well, you know what? Just do it when you come back from the vacation. You know, because the inspection is still good for the DOT. It's just Mercer, you know, that's how they do their thing. And they extend the inspections to a lot of people, you know, they done it. I know that. Even to myself, to one of them trailers, you know, they was literally almost due and they knew I couldn't make it, you know. So I knew that they didn't have to put me out of service. They're gonna tell me, hey, Jose, when you come back, go and do the inspection, you know. But, you know, they took me out of service, and then when I called, you know, I told them, why you guys took me out of service? Okay, you were supposed to do. I said, nah, I'm not gonna drop my plans to do a goddamn inspection. It's not gonna happen, you know. It's not gonna happen. You know, if I already got plans, I'm not gonna cancel my plans, you know, and the holiday things that I'm doing to do inspection. You know, I don't know. I picked up the trailer and I drop a hook, and you call me, you know, when I'm in the middle of nowhere, and you know I'm going home after I drop that load, and you expect me to stop my plans to do inspection? No, it's not happening. you know. So yeah, I definitely didn't like that, and I don't know I'm gonna like it, you know. Like I said, I'm not gonna like it, and I never will, you know. Like I said, it's not always like that. Sometimes they call you with more time. I guess the guy that is in charge of doing the checking the inspection waited to the last minute, and you know, I got lucky. I ended up getting that truck. So he tried to make a point and put me out of service because I didn't do the inspection, which I wasn't gonna do it. You know, and honestly, I don't see what's the issue. You know what I mean? You know, it's the holidays. I already got plans. I'm going home. I'm not gonna take out of my personal time with my family to do inspection. It's not gonna happen. I'm not gonna cancel my vacation to do inspection. It's not gonna happen. You know, but it is what it is, right? But yeah, like I say, the good things about Mercer, I'm also gonna say bad things that I don't like. You know, it, I mean, I'm pretty sure any of them would have plans already, and they would have got a call. You know, they would have picked up a load, and the trailer needed inspection, which will interfere with the plans. They was gonna go with the plans. You know what I mean? But it is what it is. You know what I mean? I took care of that. You know, they put me back in service yesterday, and you know, I got this load out of the spot market through an agent. I called the agent, and you know, he picked up the load. And I just waiting here to get unloaded. I think they done because I don't feel my trailer moving. They got a lock in the trailer, so they probably should be coming out pretty soon to take it off. Then I gotta go and pick up a load, like I said, like 10 miles away from here. That I deliver Monday on PA. I gotta do a 2 hours detour because we're gonna stay for the weekend, you know. But I'm fine with that because honestly, I don't want to go drive to PA now when I deliver Monday and stay up there, you know. I don't know anybody up there, so I prefer to, you know, it's only 2 hour drive difference. It's nothing. It's totally worth it to me, you know. Spending time, you know, with my family than being on the road. But yeah, guys, like I said, you know, things happen. You know, like I said, no company is perfect. I just, you know, it's a situation I didn't like it how they handle it, and you know, it is what it is. You know, it is what it is, right? But I took care of it, and we're here back making money. Like I said, hopefully on Monday I find something out of Carlisle, PA, going back to the Midwest. Man, luckily today the traffic wasn't that bad, and I was in the rush hour in the morning. You know, I went through Atlanta around 7:30. It wasn't really that bad. I mean, I got few, you know, I ran into few traffic jams, but it wasn't like normally it is Atlanta. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna pick up that load. Then I'm gonna take my 10 hours because I don't want to drive right now, even though I should. You know, if I end up picking up that load and I could pass through Atlanta before 1 o'clock, but then the lunch hour there might be a lot of traffic. I don't know. Atlanta always got traffic, man. But anyways, guys, hope everybody have a good weekend. God bless everybody, man. And like I said, Mercer is a good company. It just, you know, I didn't like that situation, and I know they're probably gonna see this video, you know, and I tell them I'm not scared of talking when I don't like something. So, you know, it is what it is. Like I said, I know they could extend it for a week and let me come out, you know, get a load, get the trailer done, and do things like that, you know. Which I end up missing a good load that I wanted because I was out of service. I went in the board and I was like, shit, I can't pick up this load. And then I called the coordinator and said, yeah, they put you out of service. I said, why you put me out of service? because you didn't do the inspection. I said I wasn't gonna do the inspection. I was on vacation. You guys called me when I'm on my way home, and I wasn't gonna stop that. It's not gonna happen. You know, it's not gonna happen. It would never happen. You know, it would never happen. But it is what it is, man. But anyways, guys, you know, I'm real. You know, I'm not gonna sugarcoat nothing. Like I say, I still like Mercer. I'm sour about this situation, but I get over it. You know, you're already working, making money, and it is what it is, man. You know, I ended up losing a whole day yesterday, plus $70, but that's on me because I misread the message. Supposedly say trailers. You know, now I'm there's nowhere I could find that message. I probably deleted it. I should look for it too. Yeah, I probably deleted it. But it is what it is, man. You know, like I said, my truck passed the. Oh, okay, yeah. They say right there. They right. Attention, all van drivers. All TA locations has been approved for C-trailer inspection. If you hook to a trailer that needs inspection, it should be completed prior to dropping off the reload. So yeah, they did say specifically trailers. All drivers see trailer drive. If you're pulling a C trailer, be sure trailer inspection paperwork is left in the weatherproof holder. Of course, that's where it should be. It should never be in your permit book. It should be in the trailer, because if you drop the trailer, the next driver need the paperwork. But yeah, they clearly said it that it's it's a trailer. So I found the message, which it was the October 7th. I thought it was all the all the TAs for tractors and trailers, but I misread it. That's on me. So I lost $70 there. It is what it is. But anyways, guys, have a blessed week. God bless everybody. I'm still mad. You guys could see it. I didn't like that shit yesterday. That I had to sit all day for I got their inspection for the trailer. Lose money a whole day and plus lose $70. But the $70 is on me. So, but I'm still sour about it. I don't like that, and I don't like how they handle the situation. Like I said, you call me on my way when I'm going home. I'm dropping that low and I'm going home. I'm not gonna stop and miss my plans because that trailer needed inspection. Because that's Mercer policy. But the trailer is legally to be out there by the DOT because you got inspection. It's just like Landstar, Mercer. They got their own rules. One is 3 months, the other one is every 6 months. But don't call me in the last minute. They call me the 21st. And the 20, and I was on my way going home. I was then leaving in that low, and then they head to my house. I wasn't, like I said, I wasn't gonna stop. It wasn't gonna happen. But anyways, guys, God bless everybody, man. I'm gonna finish this video, and we're gonna keep it moving, man. We're gonna keep making money, and we're gonna keep riding this truck until the wheels fall off, man. The tractor passed the inspection yesterday with flying colors. The trailer didn't. They had to change the brakes. That's why I lost the whole day. Which he said, is the brakes, they work, but if you get a DOT inspector, he probably gonna put you out of service because they that close. It's a just call. So I said, listen, man, If they gotta be changed, change it. You know, I'm not paying for that. So Mercer, you know, they pay for it. You know, and they end up changing it. So it is what it is, man. But anyways, guys, God bless everybody. And if you got any questions, Green Star Logistics LLC at gmail.com. Like and subscribe. And like and subscribe, man. Write a comment. You know, like I said, man, I'm honest. Do I still Mercer is a great company? Yeah. I just don't like to be bullied around, you know. And you know, it's not gonna happen. It will never happen. So it is what it is. But yeah, anyways, God bless everybody, and I'll see you in the next video.